Thank you for listening to the Southwest Florida Business Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm joined today by Alex and Eddie from Sugarshack Sessions. So I'm glad I got to have this conversation because I've been following Sugarshack for 7 years now, maybe something along those lines. And they were bringing in all of my favorite reggae bands that I grew up listening to that really shaped the type of music that I made, that I played, that I listened to. So it's cool to be able to talk to them about the start of it, how the business came about, how this grew into the channel that it is today. And then we also dive into the business side of it, how they have been able to fund it, the vision that they have for where it's going. And it's a cool lesson for me as a new business owner that wants to use my business as a vehicle to help me grow my music, other podcasts, things like that. So it was a good lesson to see that you can actually marry those two worlds and use this as a vehicle to fuel ultimately what you want to do with your life in the long term. So I appreciate you guys giving this a listen. I'm excited to share it with you. I learned a ton. And without further ado, please enjoy this episode. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcast. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com. Enjoy the show. All right, dude. You guys want to roll into this?
Let's do it, bro.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Alex, Eddie, thank you guys for joining me.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, man.
So I've been following you guys for quite some time. When did Sugarshack start? What year?
2014.
2014. So probably somewhere right around 2015. I've been watching Pacifier and Ballyhoo and all my favorite bands growing up. And,
nice.
Ours too.
Yeah.
Those are classics. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool to be able to watch them play these acoustic sets and all that stuff. It's you guys made something pretty special. So
thanks, man.
Let's kind of dive into how that got started. But let's start off with the Reggae Rise Up stage. When I saw you guys pull that off, and this year I didn't get to go. I was at the other festival, but when I saw that, I was kind of like, damn, I wish I was at Reggae Rise Up because I don't know, it's really cool to have seen it go from your guys' porch to having your own stage and having all these bands come through and play these acoustic sets. So I don't even know what question to ask, so I'll let you guys kick this off, and then let's see where it goes.
Yeah, so Reggae Rise Up has been a big part of what we do. Just because the modern reggae scene really took us in since 2014. They've been a huge part of what we do, just that genre, right? So Reggae Rise Up Music Festival was just a huge link, like a huge part of that, and exposing us and getting us in front of a lot of bands in the scene. And it just made sense to, from a commercial video standpoint, to work with them because it's a music festival and they need video and photography and all the things. So we fit that mold, but at the same time, our brand is super unique and can bring in an experiential side of it too. So, we did a few years where we were just providing video and media content for the festival. And then it started to grow into, hey, we want to bring our Sugarshack session experience to your festival.
Yeah.
Are you guys cool with this? Can we try it? And I think, 2019, 2022, we did our first pop-up stage.
Yeah, 2019 was the first official
pop-up.
We
call them a pop-up. Sugarshack pop-up
where they
stage.
actually provided a legit stage for us. I mean, the 2019 was literally just a little 8x8 riser right outside our merch tent in the middle of Vendor Village, and then it grew into a bigger experience.
So along with our brand comes retail and, the merchandise side of things, because we have this lifestyle side of our brand as well. So at our little merch booth, we had a little stage that we had bands come and do 3-song acoustic sets. So that was a hit. We were clogging up Vendor Row with 1,000 people standing in front of our booth and clogging up everybody else's booth around us. And
fire marshals literally came over.
Yeah.
because people couldn't pass. We had a crowd of 1,000 people in this little narrow pathway.
Trying to catch these sets.
Yeah.
They're 10, 15-minute sets. It's real quick. It's when main stage is off and side stage is about to go on, everybody's kind of transitioning. That's when our acoustic pop-ups start happening. So it's only a 10, 15-minute set. And so that first year, we blew it out of the water, and the festival I think COVID happened, and then they like skipped another year. And so that first one back, they're like, hey, let's give you guys a full stage. Let's do this for real.
That's awesome. You made it like pretty much undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was just such a great experience for the people that went to the festival. They loved it so much. Like, oh man, we got to do this bigger.
Yeah.
And now it's becoming a part of the festival, where I feel like it'd almost be missed if it went away. So
yeah. Well, and it's got to be cool for those bands to have that opportunity to just come in like, let's bang out 3 acoustic songs real quick. We're performing this festival. We might as well. And plus then you guys are putting it out on your channel, and they're getting a bunch of extra content and exposure from it.
It's cool, man.
Fans love it. The bands love it. We love it.
Yeah.
It's a win-win-win.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, leading up to this, I mean, part of what kind of kicked this conversation off between us is I saw you guys put out the Pacifier acoustic session, and it was 3 of my favorite songs from Pacifier. I mean,
one of my favorites this year.
Thinking back, actually, the first band I ever went to go see live was Pepper in 2008.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And the very first band I ever saw live was Pacifier because they were opening for them. And actually, my brother, my cousin, and I walked in while they were playing Ghost Man, and I was like, "Wow,
sick.
Who are these guys?" You know? And then just hearing the way that they've evolved over the past few years, and your guys' podcast with them, it was really cool to be able to actually see the journey that they went through and dealing with changing band members and new keyboard players and all the things that they've dealt with, and just still making like some of my favorite music I've ever heard. Like, I don't know anybody that makes music like that.
Agreed. They're a staple in that scene, and I think they're super underrated too. Like, they have such incredible musicianship and songwriting, and they're great guys. And
100%.
That band's awesome, man. We love those guys.
They're multi-genre. They could go in a lot of different places. But reggae's obviously taking them in for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so how did you guys start building these kind of relationships with these bands? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, in 2014, I was just cold emailing artists that I was into, and that a lot of us were into it on the team, and just cold emailing, seeing the routes, the tour routes from Tampa, St. Pete to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. There's only one way to get there, and
it's true.
We got free beer and free videos at my house, and yes or no. And a lot of bands said no, and then some bands started saying yes. And we obviously started with the locals and the regional artists that my band at the time and his band at the time were friends with, and with the networks we made personally, and we dipped into that and really started building content together and built the channel up and get that word of mouth, at least in the state of Florida. But bands started saying yes, and I mean, like 4-6 months in, bands were saying yes. Touring artists like Ballyhoo and the Movement said yes real early for us, and a couple national acts there really helped. And I think maybe 2 years in or something, the Green came from Hawaii, and
it really happened fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But word of mouth, man, and all these, I see it as like little bubbles starting all over the country. You look at a map of the U.S., and of course it starts in Florida, and you just see like this little bubble start growing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you get a band from Pennsylvania or wherever, you see this little bubble growing.
Yep.
And then we got like Soul Seed from Washington, or Oregon, and you see a little bubble. And all of a sudden these bubbles start overlapping.
Yep.
And it's just like all of a sudden you got the whole state covered, and all of a sudden everybody knows who Sugarshack is, which is wild still to me. But early on, I mean, let's see, Ballyhoo was the first like big
national
band that came through our way, and it was like, holy shit, Ballyhoo is here.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But the Green was that was the first out of like they're from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Did they fly in to do the session, or they were on tour?
They were on tour.
Okay.
Yeah, we typically catch bands, on their way to the venue or on an off day in Florida.
Yeah.
That's ideal. Off day is ideal because then they can spend a little more time. They're not in and out, not so rushed, because it's a real personal experience. We make sure the hospitality is on point and make sure that the band's having a good time and feels comfy, and that really shines through the video and through the audio. And I don't know. That's what really makes a Sugarshack experience for an artist.
I think so. I don't see many things like it. Like we were talking the other day with Mo Boogie and stuff like that. Like
exactly.
I loved watching the Mo Boogie stuff with the Expendables. Like that was where I heard Wells for the first time. It just like blew my mind. I was in 11th grade or something like that. And I was like, how do people make music like this?
Yeah.
But no, it's cool to watch the quality of it. And yeah, it's like evolved, but it was always good. Like the quality was like always good from the jump.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. somehow.
Yeah, I mean that's something that really we've all taken real serious since day one. You know, it is free for artists. It always has been, and it always will be. But we want to create content that artists are proud of and want to share.
Yeah,
and spread the word about. And I think that's what really has catapulted our success as a YouTube channel is that quality, audio, video, the highest production quality possible.
Yeah,
given what we have and our resources.
Yeah. Well, so why did you guys start this? Was there like a driving reason behind starting it, or did this kind of like unfold from something else, or how did all this get started?
It's passion, but Eddie was the one that started it. So
yeah, I think coming from being in a band and being a drummer in a band and seeing a little bit of the road life and being the guy in the band that has a GoPro, or at the time it wasn't really much social media, so not really that, but early YouTube days with GoPros and stuff like that, I was the guy who always had a camera. I just always loved acoustic sessions, whether it was MTV Unplugged or Mo Boogie or Audio Tree. I know they're not acoustic, but they're doing live sessions.
Yeah.
And Jam in the Van as well. Like there's a couple, there's a small scene of live session channels. And then, local band here, no longer a band, but SoFlo had hired my original freelance video company, 50 Films, to film a acoustic music video for them. And they said, do you have a location in mind? I said, I just got this new house and I got a back deck, super tropical. Let's put you there. So we did it, and the videos turned out really dope.
Yeah.
I look back and laugh at it now, but that was way early.
Yeah.
But just seeing that video come together, I was super inspired. And my band had broken up, and I just got the idea. I was like, let's try to start a session channel. I know guys in town that can record audio. He had a studio at the time, still same studio. And I knew some homies with cameras and somehow talked them into starting a YouTube channel with me.
Here we are.
And here we are.
Guys, I have this idea. We're going to get these bands to sit on the back porch, and it's going to be
much.
huge.
Yeah. I got a cool name. My house was already called the Sugarshack. Like all my homies and all my bandmates call it the Sugarshack. So I was like, we got a decent name. Can't forget that name. So, everybody thankfully took a chance on it and, made ourselves a career now.
Yeah.
My band was actually the second one on the channel, which is crazy. So coming from like an artist standpoint, I was like, oh, let's get a freaking badass video, So I've been able to feel like and he has too, because he's got a couple on there.
Yeah. There wasn't, there's nobody in Florida really doing this at the time.
Right.
There's other session channels now that have popped up in Florida, but there was nowhere for bands to get off the road and do something like this in Florida yet. So there was definitely a void in the market there. Other parts of the country, like I was saying, Audio Tree was in Chicago and Jam in the Van in LA, and then I think Mo Boogie was in Denver or Boulder.
Somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado. So, there's a void down here, and Florida's a good market for touring artists. So, especially modern reggae, like I said, they took us in. So, every band comes to Florida in that genre. So, took advantage of that.
You guys all got together to start this. So this piece started first, and then everybody was working together, and then you're like, shit, we got to figure out how to fund all this.
How to make money,
yeah. So what was that like to go from starting this, seeing the awesome side of this kind of sprout up and be like, all right, we're in it. We need to figure out how to fund this, how to make this scalable, all this kind of stuff. What was that period like? And then what did you guys start doing to help grow the business side in order to fund this piece?
So that's actually an interesting part of the story, because before the YouTube channel started together, I was doing freelance video stuff, weddings and real estate, and a music video, a single music video. Really just getting my feet wet while having like a restaurant job and balancing dropping out of college and all of those things as a typical like early 20-year-old.
Weren't you in the Air Force too?
In the military as well. Yeah. Okay. I was in the reserves. So that allowed me to have some time to like focus on this as well. Mm-hmm. But for the longest time, we were trying to keep all that separate. It's funny to think about. I remember having like 50 Films, and then a couple of us started State of Mind Multimedia, but Sugarshack always was kind of here separate, right? But the Sugarshack brand grew exponentially faster than our media company. So I don't remember exactly, but there was a point in time where like, why don't we just put everything under the Sugarshack name?
Yeah.
And use that to fuel the channel and build that brand.
Got it. So you have revenue coming in under the Sugarshack name.
Yep.
and you can build the channel, you can have everything. We're highlighting all these artists, everything on this front that you're building with this, and then fund it under the same company.
Yeah.
But that's coming from like corporate work and stuff like that. So
but the music channel was the face of the company, essentially.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of opportunities opened up on the corporate work side? How did you guys find that? And like, what was the initial approach to kind of taking care of those customers?
Well, I think starting in real estate and starting in the wedding, so prevalent here especially in Southwest Florida. It's a huge market for wedding videography, right? So we met a ton of people through that network, and I think from there it was just word of mouth, and just like our YouTube channel, we try to provide the best quality possible. So I think that's what really took us far, and that word of mouth really spread. And there's not a whole lot of competition in this town for quality video production. I think there's a lot more now to this, like today.
Sure.
But back then, 2014, 2015. Even before that, there wasn't many people in town doing those sorts of things and offering those services. So we just took it real serious and, grinded, man. And we were all balancing day jobs. And it took a while for us to be able to quit our jobs and get to that point. I think one by one, we all started quitting our jobs.
Yeah.
But that journey, it was a fun part of the process. It was definitely a challenge, but now we're all full time, and we look back, it's cool to see.
Yeah. So how long did that kind of transition take from doing this, moving the ball forward, keeping this passion project on the side going, and then being able to slowly kind of cut ties with the previous life?
What was that like?
Well, I mean, it's been different for all of us.
Yeah.
But 4 to 5 years, I think, from start to actually like the first person kind of like going on salary.
Agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we all still do share this vision of Sugarshack being this, amazing music channel, but, a music channel is very hard to make money on.
Yeah.
It's just like being an artist, it's kind of in that same category. Like, how do you really make a full-time living doing that?
Yeah.
Especially when there's, 5 original partners trying to get salaries and, a couple other people involved at the time. But
yeah.
So the corporate stuff kind of allowed us to keep the whole thing going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we all shared this same vision. We're all, pulling different weight. Eddie especially has pulled a tremendous amount of the weight from the beginning, especially on the corporate video stuff.
Yeah.
But we're all like slowly like, all right, well, Spencer can now quit his job and he gets on a minimal salary. And then this person, Arian quits his job and he gets on a minimal salary. Yeah. Meanwhile, Eddie's like freaking carrying this. He's like the horse over here, like, we're all in the cart, like, come on, let's go.
Let's go. We ain't stopping.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 years later, we're finally kind of getting to that point where, when we're doing the financial analysis and stuff and we're looking at it and, the percentage of corporate versus, music channel, all of a sudden it's starting to teeter. It was like 80-20 and now it's kind of like, all right, we're going 70-30. Now we're going, it's like starting to get to that point where, the brand has grown enough that we can start, building all these different revenue streams. And that's really the key to, success is, multiple revenue streams. You can't always rely on one little thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, COVID kind of taught everybody in the industry
sure.
that.
Right.
Because, anybody that doesn't know our business, they probably look at us like, oh, they make some YouTube money or something. They're YouTubers. Well, yeah, we make a little bit on YouTube. You would be surprised at how little.
It's one of the lowest revenue streams for sure.
So,
yeah.
And you guys have like 350,000 subscribers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What are we at? 200 million channel plays? It's up there.
It's up there, yeah.
It's growing every day.
More than that.
But Google takes a lot. They take a big cut.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a big business card for us, man.
Yeah.
And in the music industry, we're really starting to feel the name we've built for ourselves in the music industry as a whole, which is really cool. And I think that's what is a big contributing factor to that kind of that channel starting to catch up to the commercial side of things. So it's really cool. It's an exciting time.
Yeah. So this has kind of driven the ability to go out and start creating other opportunities from like other genres or other festivals, other musicians. Like you guys just did an orchestra over, you said in Miami, right?
Yeah.
So so by doing this stuff, how did that one come about? I guess is a better question.
It's that path we've made for ourselves as being, we specialize in live audio and video production. right? New Deco Orchestra or New Deco Ensemble is what their name is in Miami. Really awesome organization. I think it's like a 45-person orchestra. They emailed us. I think they saw our live production and they asked, could you do what you do for an orchestra? And
yeah,
classic Sugarshack fashion, we just say yes.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Dude, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, like doing this podcast, I've been able to talk to, I guess, 15, 16 business owners so far.
Nice.
And it's just, I mean, for the most part, that seems to be one of the keys is like, just do it. Like,
yeah.
Can you do this?
Oh, yeah. Just
yes. Or at least like, yeah, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
like,
just friggin' try.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might as well.
Yeah.
So like, why do you, so it sounds like you've kind of been like the driving underlying force, like probably one of those things, couldn't do it without everybody on the team.
1,000%.
But being the driving force, I mean, you guys keep talking about like a vision. Like what's the vision that you see for where this is going? Like, I guess short term and then maybe even like longer term, kind of why you're doing all this stuff.
Yeah. I would say ultimately we want to be, a household name when it comes to live music, whether that's the channel or, at a festival in physical sense, with our pop-ups and things like that. But just become a household name for when you think of live music, like maybe Rolling Stone or Relics or something like that,
Yeah. Well, you have a cool enough name to do it.
Yeah, let's go. Sugarshack.
Yeah, I mean, just becoming a huge brand. I mean, driven by live music and, just doing what we're doing, but doing it genuinely. Because we specialize in live music, there's this whole new realm of, how do we bring the physical experience to people and the fans, whereas before it's basically been online. And then like you were talking about the Reggae Rise Up bringing the stage, that kind of sparked like, okay, where can we go with this,
Yeah.
So
it seems like you can go a million different places with this.
For sure. I think there's a lot of power in creating an online presence and creating an online demand and then taking that and converting it into a physical, tangible, thing that now your fans that, have been watching us for 8 years can now, I can go experience this now in real life, whether that's at my house at a Sugarshack session or at a festival. Because I would say that festival pop-up concept, something that I would like to take, and I think the whole team would agree, is like, let's go do this at Coachella or let's go do this at a big festival, high profile with high profile artists,
Yeah.
It's just a cool concept that we can add to like a ticket buyer's experience right there. So I think there's just a lot of power in taking that digital audience and bringing it into the physical. It's really cool.
It is. It's
really
pretty
cool.
sweet. And so you guys are now doing these sessions at your house where people can actually come and listen.
Yeah. So we've been doing it on my back deck since day one. And with that, it's a super personal experience, right? Being in someone's home, and me and my fiance, Lisa, we live there and we always have, but we're currently trying to move out. But with that, I don't know. There's a personal space there. So it's taken a long time to really like get it dialed and find a way to balance, this business with that. It's been an interesting aspect of this business.
How so?
It's just having like, our significant others have been such a big part of this,
Yeah.
It's such a personal thing.
They put up with us.
Yeah. It's so personal to all of us, whether it's the 5 guys or our 5 significant others, because we're all in like long-term relationships too. Oh, yeah. So it's just a personal, like, it's very family vibes, always has been. So now, we're selling VIP passes to come to hang out in my driveway and watch a band play. So
it's weird when you say it that way.
Yeah. But that's what it is. But we really have curated like a truly awesome experience.
Yeah.
And the space is dialed and
and you get to be, like you said, you get to physically be part of what was previously only a digital experience.
Right. On a screen. And it's taken, I think we're at a good place now because we've built a team too. Like we have, there's 5 of us that started this together, but now there's 4 more on the team, 5 more now on the team. And I think that's what it really took to like kind of get us over to that next hump,
Okay. So, and I want to ask you guys about that, of the process of scaling this business up. So maybe if you guys are good with it, let's go to the spot where you had all 5 of you there finally everybody's getting a salary. Things are moving the right direction.
Sure.
And then what kind of allowed you guys to get to that spot? And then what was the reasoning for starting to scale up and adding more people to the team?
I can talk on that. So we kind of had, we give each name now like a nickname, or each year a nickname.
Okay.
Or I do at least. I just tell the guys. But the pandemic hit everyone in a different way. We were able to survive it, thankfully, as a business. We had enough backlog, and we live in Florida, so it was a little different. But but anyways, so 2021 was like January 2021. We had some downtime over 2020, and we had some time to rethink certain things and certain people on the team, et cetera. And the 5 OG, we call each other the OGs.
Yeah.
The original 5 partners of the business.
Yeah.
Sat down and we said, all right, what are we doing here? Let's get back to the basics. And so we called 2021 the year of regrouping.
Okay.
And we're like, we literally sat down. It's like, what are we doing with this business? Like literally, because it felt like the whole thing was falling apart.
Yeah, it did.
Really?
We're not going to go into too many details of that, but yeah, it was crazy. That was like the dark period in our business, which we got through, thankfully. We've never been stronger, honestly.
Yeah. Coming out from the other side.
Coming out of that, yeah. And so, we decided we need to make this about why we originally started doing this and not about other things. And that was focused on giving people the best live music experience they can. So we kind of got through 2021 and we started growing, and we naturally kind of added on a couple new members, like our podcast host, Bryce, he started then.
He's a good host too.
He's a great host.
Yeah, he's great. He's been doing good.
I had a good buddy of mine from high school who's an audio engineer, and I've always been one audio engineer versus 5 or 4 video guys.
Yeah.
So I finally I was like, maybe I should have someone help. So Barrett Zablo, he's my new audio guy, and he was helping out, part-time through that year.
Yeah.
And then 2022 hit, and we're starting to feel a little more comfortable again. We're kind of out of that dark period, and things are looking really like they're going on the bright side. It's like, okay, we're back to the basics. People are really loving this. We're really loving this.
Yeah.
2022 hit, and then we start going, okay, we're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah. Bottlenecks.
A lot of bottlenecks. Eddie's getting, bogged down on keeping up with edits for corporate video work and stuff like that, which is taking us away from the channel work that we really need to be focusing on.
Right.
And so we named 2022 our year of delegation.
Yeah.
And so that naturally goes into, okay, we need more people to delegate to. We can't just delegate to each other. So
right.
We officially started onboarding full-time employees other than the 5 original partners.
Yeah.
And that was a really rewarding experience, honestly. It's really cool to be able to give someone a job, especially a job that they really, really want to do and be there for every day. So, it never really feels like work. And we feel that way. A lot of the new guys feel that way.
Yeah.
And now we're still at that point, it's like, what hats can we start taking off? Because we're still working more than we can even imagine. But again, it doesn't feel like work, but it's still it takes such a toll on you, on your day to day, especially when we're all family oriented people. And now here we are. So middle of 2022 and
rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. In addition to Bryce and who did we say?
We got Bryce and Barrett.
And
then Dave Alpert.
Yep. Who came on to work sponsorships and brand deals to really build up that channel, right? We built this brand that, is kind of worthy of that now. So that's another revenue stream there for the music channel itself. And then we brought on Ellard. He's an old friend of ours that used to live in Naples, now lives in Austin full time, but he does data and analytics for us. So really helps us make good decisions and watches all the trends on our content, and it's like, we should do less of this, try this, do more of that. So he's been really essential in just studying all our data and really helping us navigate this YouTube platform. And
what's that been like? Because I'm not even close to that, but everybody talks about data and making sure you make the most of it.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what to ask. So what is that? What has that been like going through?
You
that
need
process?
an Ellard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We call him Chino. He goes by Chino. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the man.
We don't even know what to ask. He comes to us and starts presenting all this stuff. We're like,
graphs and charts and spreadsheets.
Well, we were completely wrong.
This is even a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Thumbnails, titles. He studies everything we do, He literally just sit watching the back end, and he's been an essential piece, honestly, in our growth, and continues to be. He's awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's I hear stuff like this, and I've seen it even with the family businesses, is like you grow to a certain point, you hit this capacity, you start delegating stuff out, and then do you guys feel like you've been learning things from the time of delegating things, like learning things about running business and even just seeing what other things people bring to the table? I mean, like what kind of learning experience has this been by delegating?
Ton.
Yeah.
I mean, so none of us come from business backgrounds, first of all. So
not one bit.
We've been kind of flying by the seat of our pants this whole time, to be totally honest.
We're a lot better than we used to be, man.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to learn about running a business. This is no joke. Like especially when you start having other people than like the 5 original like partners that just flow together, they're relying on you.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot. I don't want to call it weight, but that's responsibility. I mean,
it is.
That's their livelihood.
Yep.
And if you fuck up, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So
they're quitting their jobs to work for us and work with us. So that's a lot of weight for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so you gotta learn quick. You learn on your feet. But business side of things, you start learning all the business stuff. Okay, how do you start an LLC? What kind of corporation are we going to be? Are we going to be this or that? How do taxes work? All that bullshit that nobody wants to deal with in the background.
Yeah.
Except if you love that kind of stuff. Like I do,
How do we sacrifice our salary so we can bring on more and grow?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it too.
That's a huge part of it. Yeah,
it's
like growing pains. Yeah,
investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even still to this day, we're not making a ton of money. You might think, oh my God, Sugarshack. No. Like the 5 are like, we are personally sacrificing, getting decent, wages to bring on people because we know that it's going to be better for the bigger picture of the company in the future. And
absolutely.
And stuff like that.
So how did you guys try to build this to be like a sustainable business? Not like in sustainability, but like to be able to sustain a business, to be able to have a strong enough business to bring on people to support them, because you're right, it is a lot of weight. Like a lot of people, the more people you bring on, the more people are relying on you. So like what have you guys done in the past couple of years now? You said you're getting better at it. Like what kind of things have you done to make it more solid and sustainable?
I'd say communication is like number 1.
Yep.
Really?
I would agree.
How so?
Communication, internal communication for sure.
Okay.
So the 5, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but
you're fine.
The 5 of us, we just work together so well. Like we have this like nonverbal communication thing. And so, if we were told like write down your processes, we're like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How do you make that happen? Well, I don't know. We just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we have other people involved, and they're not as much in that. So like they're sitting there waiting for direction from you as the boss or whatever. I hate calling myself a boss, but that is it. So if you don't communicate with those people, or you're just expecting them to do something without, telling them, or they're expecting you to want something or whatever, then, it can get muddy real quick. So learning how to, how that relationship flows,
Yeah, I would say trust is a big part too.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a deep sense of trust in each other, and knowing that we can all bring, we all bring something to the table that the others can't.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of our success too, is everybody has a specialty. We can all lean on each other to make sure that you're kind of doing your job or doing your role, fulfilling your role to, fuel that fire and get to our end goals. And that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it seems huge, and I'm actually learning this. I'm an intern now, and just figuring out how to communicate. And you show up in the morning, and it's like, oh, I have to communicate what I need, and I have to communicate. Or I got to build a system. I got to put this in like a software to keep track of what we're working on, what we've talked about.
Yeah,
I forget, and then the next day you come in. It's like, what did I say that I wanted? All right, no, I put it in here. All right, we're good. It's interesting. And somebody I was talking to on here told me that as you scale and hand things off to other people, it forces you to systematize, and it forces you to make note of those processes. And
it does.
You can actually, have you felt like it's helped make you more efficient? Like, have you realized certain things you were doing? You're like, why are we doing this?
That's why everybody needs a chino in their life.
Yeah.
That's another big part of what he does is
really?
He helps us, get our systems down on paper or on the computer.
He does. Yeah, he's good at that.
It's amazing. That was never something we like asked him to do, but I think he just saw like that was something we weren't good at, and he started just spearheading this whole thing.
Yeah.
And now we have this huge software thing going on where every session has these automatic links that do this and that, and it's like, whoa, and anytime we need any data, we're like, hey, how many sessions did we do in this year? That's easy, and then how much money do we make from those sessions in this period? And that's easy. And then now it's like that we're having like sponsors and stuff involved. We have a certain amount of videos we need to keep up with that we're going to be putting out in the next 3 months or whatever.
Sure.
And if we if we miss the ball on that, then we don't have a video that goes out, and then we're getting paid to do that. So he's got this system in place where he says we need to do it, kind of spits out, we need to do this amount of sessions per month for this reason, XYZ.
Yep. Yeah, he keeps us accountable for sure. It's been great. I love having him on with us on that regard. He definitely has a little more of a corporate background than most of us. Yeah. So he brings in some of those elements that, we may not have ever had.
No.
Yeah.
Because we are like,
none of us.
Yeah. I feel like the 5 partners are like true creatives. So we had to bring maybe some new blood in and kind of like lock us down and kind of keep us focused and
get you in the business world as you scale into the business
for
world.
For sure.
It's like with Flight Docs, family's company, before they sold it and everything, at a certain point, probably 4 or 5 years before they sold it, like my dad's been an entrepreneur for as long as I have been alive.
Nice.
And does things very entrepreneurially. He brought in this lady named April who was at like big banks and ran all this stuff. Just knew the corporate side of things. And when you have somebody like that can understand that, but also can plug into the like creative startup, entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
It was crazy just to see how fast it was just like a hockey stick.
Yep. Yeah. That's what Dave brings to the table. Dave is our what is his title? What do we call him?
Like the brand
chief corporate guy.
Basically.
He does all the brand partnerships and sponsorships. So like sponsorship director,
right?
Whatever his official title is, but brand partnerships and sponsorships is what he focuses on.
He brings in a nice corporate sense too. Yeah, it's been really great having.
He's got a good sales background, so.
Yep, and he's been a good friend of ours since day one, and he's also a camera operator, so he wears many hats like the rest of us, and we were able to offer him a position maybe 6 months ago now.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Hasn't been that long,
Official.
but yeah, he was with Gardner, and he brings a lot of wisdom in that sense to what we do into a startup space.
Nice.
It's just cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to have these like resources coming on board.
Yeah, man.
That can actually help you guys like go to the next level.
Yeah, it's essential. It's been awesome.
So what is the next level for you guys? What are you seeing?
Well,
a venue. We want to go there.
I think continuing to bring people in to experience what we do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a venue. I think that's a music festival. Keep building the channel. Keep try to build that brand up into becoming a household name for all things live music. Because we do a lot of work in the modern reggae scene, but we're a music channel and our doors are open to every genre.
Yeah.
So that's something that we continually are trying to do, is to open our doors to other musicians and other genres.
Yeah, for sure. What else? Where do you see this going?
You want my big old master?
I want the master plan. Also, your bank account information. Social Security.
No, we keep hitting at. It's like bringing this experience to the physical world. So like we really want to open a space here in this area, but I see it as a bigger thing than that even. And Sugarshack becoming a national place where people can go to, like the Sugarshack. You can go to the Sugarshack all over the place.
Yeah.
Who knows if we'll get there, but that's an idea.
could be like the next Hard Rock or
something like that.
Margaritaville. I think maybe dabble into that space. Like a live music based, experience, brick and mortar.
Yeah,
music cities.
Yeah, well, and it's cool. It's cool because you're almost going backwards from the traditional. Model is like started off online, started off with virtual or digital experiences, and then moving it back into the physical space.
Create an audience, create a demand digitally, and then moving to that physical, and that the demand already exists. So maybe a little easier, working backwards. Yeah.
Do you guys ever think about doing like a Sugarshack tour or something because you said you would put these things out and then different spots of the country, like, Oregon would pop up. Like, you ever think about basically like almost a traveling festival type thing?
The channel's made up of all these mini series, flagship series being Sugarshack Sessions. And then we have all these little mini series that make up, the whole life of the channel. One takes on the spots, documentaries, podcasts. There's all these little mini series. So we have one in development right now, Sugarshack Uncharted and Unplugged, and it's taking what we do on the road, and going to, we were looking at Jamaica first, going there and showcasing music there. Since we have such a presence in reggae, it kind of made sense to go there first, and kind of show our respect to the genre and go there and showcase music from that area. But we've talked about going to Nashville and doing like 2 or 3 days of live sessions with artists in that city, and then we could take that all around the world.
Yeah.
Or even a bus tour. We talked about a bus tour.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to travel around to, 5 to 7 different cities and,
hit artists along the way. And because we're kind of a band ourselves, we're a group of dudes and we're all music lovers and most of us are musicians. So we kind of have this like band mentality at the same time, but running a real business.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It was literally like back in the day. It's like, like a band's, growth. It's like, all right, we got a van. Whoa.
Yeah.
We did all those little milestones.
We got a trailer. Oh my God, we're moving up. It's like,
yeah.
Like we were like the saying, like, we got a van. Like, we got a trailer.
It's funny reliving that because I lived those experiences with my band back in the day, and then we sell the van and the band breaks up, and then Sugarshack, we get a van and we get a trailer, and it's like just the same hype. It's cool. Yeah. It's been fun.
No, and actually, it's a good way of putting it because it feels like I'm a fan of a band when I'm watching your guys' stuff and everything evolve. Like it feels very much the same way of when I was watching like my favorite bands kind of like grow and evolve and do all these things. That's a good way to put it. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's weird like that.
It is.
Like we'll go to Reggae Rise Up, for example, and like that's our biggest festival, and like people in the audience will come up to us and we're like, we're just a media company.
Like, taking pictures with us, getting our autographs. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's like, I like this side of music. I like being on this side. It's been cool. Experiencing like on the road and being with the band and playing drums and doing that. I know I like this side of music better. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to be part of all kinds of music too.
Right.
And you're not dealing with the same kind of nonsense that you deal with when you're in a band. I did it a couple of different times. Just
hell yeah.
Heroin, people not showing up. Like,
oh jeez. For real. Yeah, we're blessed with that. We've been good with that on that side of like the music industry. We have a really great team, super solid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was recording an EP one time and I had a drummer and we show up, I start recording. I'm like, hey man, are you coming? And he's like, oh, I can't. And so the day we were recording, so actually I played a really like terrible scratch track version of the drums.
Nice.
And then I left and went to work, and the guys that were recording me were both like session drummers, and they did like cover bands and stuff. And they just like played and recorded the drums for me, and they helped me like finish that first EP. I was like, all right, thank you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
You're out of the band.
You're fired.
Yeah. So, well, and I guess let's touch on real quick Sugarshack Records.
Yes.
Let's try that again. Sugarshack Records.
There you go. Yeah, Sugarshack Records. Yeah, we started that about 3 years ago, I think, around there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've primarily put all these videos out on YouTube, obviously, but the audio, there's something magical about the audio that we capture at the sessions. It's like these new versions of these songs, and we're like, man, we should really put these out on the internet, like DSPs, Spotify, iTunes, etc., digital streaming platforms. So we created a company called Sugarshack Records that's the avenue to be able to do that.
Okay.
So it's not a traditional record label like you think of where, we're going to go sign a band, we're going to put you in the studio and make an album.
Sure.
We're basically making albums while we're filming these videos.
Yeah.
Actually, I listened to your guys' Fortunate Youth sessions more than I listened to the Fortunate Youth album. So
yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah. We get a lot of comments, people saying, and there's nothing wrong with the studio versions, but they say we prefer these over the studio versions a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
It's really cool, especially because a lot of our stuff now is one take.
Yeah.
It's like these artists are doing this in sitting down on a back deck and playing it in one take, and it lives on forever, and it's potentially better than, all the time and effort it takes to go take a band into a studio and record and multi-track. I know. It's pretty powerful. It's cool.
Yeah, you're capturing some magic.
It's exactly what it is.
And that's the thing I've told people over the years about it is like we didn't used to record music the way we do today. They didn't have all the technology where you can go in and redo all this stuff over and over again and put piece it together. And I think there's a lot of magic that gets lost by doing that process. So we're kind of bringing it back to the basics of the initial way of recording music. Mm-hmm. You think of like Led Zeppelin going in the studio back in the day. They're in there playing their fucking hearts out. They're not sitting there going, "Oh, I missed a note."
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing without knowing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the roots.
Yep.
Yeah,
cool.
and I think people are looking for that. There's a lot of extra processing and a lot of extra steps and digitization and all these things. Like, you got to throw some compression, you got to throw some EQ on almost everything just to make it sit in a mix. But
of course.
At the end of the day, if you've got 12 plugins on every channel, you might want to just redo the take. And,
yeah, we keep it authentic for sure. We push artists to keep those imperfections and keep takes that may not be exactly perfect, but people eat it up, that authenticity and keeping it real, keeping it raw.
Yeah, little mistakes can almost make a song better.
Yeah. Yep. It's awesome. We definitely challenge artists to keep some like funny little things, some Doug funnies.
It's
gonna be okay,
thing.
guys.
That's a Pacifier reference.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite sessions. Is we were in South Carolina recording at California Roots Carolina Sessions, and Pacifier was playing one of their songs out there, and they literally Ted plays the completely wrong chord, like it was like a breakdown, just like
full strum.
And then the band goes back in, and they just kept going. Like nobody cared. And at the end of it, he was just like, "Well, it made a little Doug funny there,
But we're gonna keep it.
And like that's still one of my favorite versions of that song to this day.
Yeah,
it's cool. You see, you cut to that camera in the video too, and you see his like expression on his face, and it's just so genuine. And you feel, you can't. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like going to a live concert. They're not gonna redo the song.
Yeah, exactly.
I did that when I was I did like a talent show in high school, and I played Wells by the Expendables, and like that first like I walk there, like I hit the wrong note and I just went shit right in the microphone, and I came in second place because
nice.
of that.
Yeah, see,
yeah, dude.
But so before we wrap this up, is there anything else that you guys wanna hit on?
Check out our Airbnb experience. That's where we're running Sugarshack experience through. The Airbnb platform has, they call Experience tab on there.
Sure.
And we're on there. Or just sugarshacksessions.com. You'll see the experience tab, but come check us out. It's been cool. It's been a lot of fun. We've done 2 sessions so far with the public, and it's been really special.
Yeah. I'd like to check one of those out.
You got to come.
Yeah.
You're on the guest list, bro, whenever you want.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate
it. Guys, thanks for coming and doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Do you have anything else you want to add on here?
Fans make all this, so just subscribe to all our stuff so we can keep updated because we got a lot of cool stuff coming for you.
Oh, yeah. Got some big news coming soon.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Woo! Sweet.
This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcast. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com.